Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Conference on World Breastfeeding Week. Breastfeeding, diet and nutrition, parenting, education, health, well-being, environment, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030. Also commemorating World Breastfeeding Day, World Breastfeeding Week, and World Breastfeeding Month 2024 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. And then we'll move on to presentations. And then we will take it up. Detailed sessions on breastfeeding. Yesterday, we stopped at myth busting various concerns related to breastfeeding. So we will continue with that after today's presentations. In the meanwhile, we request all the presenters who are waiting for their presentations, who have missed their presentations, can share your details in the chat box. After commemorations, we'll be inviting you for the presentations. So today, we'll quickly look at the commemorations. Just we have 2 or 3. As every day, we are doing commemorations in daily sessions from 6 to 8 p.m. The joining link is same every day. Every day, various events are organized as part of awareness and campaigns on various issues related to health, well-being, sustainable development, which includes almost everything, all disciplines in a topic, which is related to everyone on this planet. So it almost covers everything. So to also reiterate the kind of rich cultures and traditions and ancient and traditional knowledge systems we have, we can see that we are neglecting our own traditional and indigenous knowledge systems, which the world is embracing and following it under a different name, under a different theme and style. So why we are taking up this commemoration is the importance of festivals, especially celebrations in India, where nowadays people are neglecting them. Because of that, there is a great damage that is happening to the culture and traditions, not only just to the culture and traditions, but also towards endangerment of languages and also flora and fauna. And it is also from, causing a lot of social issues, legal issues, and also law and order issues. We will see that in detail in coming sessions. So today, is also commemorated as World Alternative Games in Wales, which takes place on a date determined by the organizers. So this day, this year, it is taking place on August 5th. So the World Alternative Games is an annual event that includes thrilling adventures and fun games and sports. The day is an alternate Olympics, while a little less international attention and standard laws. This is an unusual sports event that started in 2012 at the home of the World Bog Snorkeling Championships in Landward Wells in Powys, Wales. The games included in the events are quirky and includes the likes of warm charming, chariot racing, bathtubing championships, wife carrying championships, etc. So be part of the next event and enjoy the unique experience. We have always had the spirit to compete with others. It is an evolutionary trait that has been passed on to us through eons of evolution. Our competitive spirit has helped us achieve milestones in technology, science, arts, sports, and other aspects of life. Modern sports and games and other similar competitions can help us maintain the competitive spirit even in this modern age. The Olympics are in the event. The Olympics are an event that began in Greece during the Middle Ages. It includes a wide range of sports and games with people from every nation competing against each other for glory and medals. The Olympics have worldwide viewers and followers, but even the magnitude and grandeur of the Olympics are not enough to settle our spirits. Thus, various alternative forms of competition have developed over time. World Alternative Games is one such competition that has its unique style and audience. There are various forms of competitive, simple, and yet elegant games that we play with our friends occasionally. But these games do not have enough popularity or structures to be included in a mainstream event like the Olympics. But they are more than enough for the World Alternative Games. Welsh towns are already famous for their unique events and peculiar sports. Llanwrtyd, Wells, a small town in Powys, Wales, organized the first games in 2012. The first recorded Olympic Games started in Greek city, the state of Elis, in 776 BC. The first modern Olympics, Athens, the Greek city, hosts the first modern version of Olympics in 1896. The International World Games Association hosts the first World Games in 1981. Landward Wells hosts the first World Alternative Games in 2012. So the Summer Olympics, the Friendship Games, and the World Alternative Games are alternative to the Olympic Games. There is no Olympic committee or national governing body for the World Games. The competitors are selected by the sports international federations, and the host cities do not have to construct new venues or facilities for the game. Creating a new game can be challenging and fun. Make silly rules and fun moments with your new game and play with your friends. Take a day off with your friends. Use the day to play all word games that you can think of. The main focus of the World Alternative Games is not about winning or losing. These games are about having fun, and no one can lose the game if they are having fun. Distribute silly and amusing gifts to everyone who took part. The first World Olympic Games started as an alternative to the London Olympics. The World Alternative Games are hosted once every 2 years. The first World Alternative Games consisted of about 35 different events. The medals awarded contained the inscription, "Taking part is more important than winning." The last game was scheduled for 2021 and was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The games included in the world alternative games are eccentric in nature. They are different from the regular format that we all are familiar with, and we love that it gives a different vibe. The world alternative games do not place much emphasis on winners and losers. Here, the game is more important than idea of victory. The world alternative games do not require grand settings and investment. We love it when we have fun with minimal infrastructure and capital. Today is also commemorated as Work Like a Dog Day on August 5th in US, especially it may be a dog eat dog world out there, which can force you to work like a dog, even during the dog days of summer. Work Like a Dog Day, which is celebrated on August 5th, honors people who put it extra bit of hard work. So this quickie day is inspired by celebrating by reputed strong work ethics of canines, especially service dogs. Today, pause to appreciate the hard workers who inspire or in some cases frustrate you. There is no other day like one, so stick around because we are sharing some fun ideas for the hardworking canine in you. Take a leaf out of a man's best friend book and work hard on Work Like a Dog Day on August 5th. Although you probably heard the phrases working like a dog or it's a dog's life. When someone is referring to working on a task without taking any breaks, working like a dog simply means go to the extra mile and work extremely hard. The saying comes from the farm dogs who work from the crack of dawn till the sun sets, and the sled dogs and sheep dogs that perform grueling tasks every day. Either way, the quote is reference to preserving canines. Sounds relatable? Then today is your day to celebrate. Whether it is school homework, house chores, office work, or personal projects, put your maximum effort into getting things done. Work like a dog day isn't just about personality, pushing yourself to the work to get work done. It is also showcasing your determination and dedication for others to notice. There's no point doing anything half-heartedly. So give it your best shot. The best part is that after you work like a dog, you can also take a well-deserved long slumber because after all, it's a dog's life. Animals teach us so much, and working hard to attain your goals is a life lesson, and you can't go wrong with it. But today is also commemorated as Blogger Day, especially in US, which celebrates one of the most popular platforms in the world. Blogger, anyone who has ever created a blog before, most likely use Blogger. This platform allows people to express themselves for either personal or commercial reasons. Some bloggers use blogs to disseminate information, and it has been a very good way to consume news, ranging from politics to sports, technology, lifestyle, and a host of other topics. This day should be well celebrated, especially by the blogging community, as it celebrates one of the platforms that contribute to our freedom of speech. So blogging started with several digital precursors to it before it became popular. Digital communities took many forms. In the 1990s, WebEx and other internet forum software created running conversations with threads. Blogger, an American online content management system, was established by Pyra Labs on August 23, 1999, after which it was acquired by Google in 2003. Google hosts the blogs and they are accessed through a subdomain of blogspot.com. Users can also have their custom domains such as example.com by using DNS. Blogger is one of the first dedicated blog publishing tools after Pyra Labs was purchased by Google. In February 2003, originally premium features of Blogger were made free. The following year, in 2004, Google acquired Picasa and its photo sharing service. And it was then incorporated into Blogger to enable users to upload images into their blogs. In 2004, Blogger underwent a major redesign, which included web standards templates, individual archive pages for posts, comments, and email posting. This new version, called Invader, was released in beta alongside the golden version in 2006. Users were then moved to Google. In 2015, Blogger announced that it would no longer allow its users to post explicit content unless they offered substantial public benefits, such as in artistic, educational, documentary, or scientific contents. Just 4 days later, on February 28, 2015, due to severe backlash from long-term bloggers, Blogger reversed its decision and went back to the previous policy that allowed explicit images and videos if the blog was marked as adult. So read a blog post, start a blog, spread awareness. So some blogging tips for beginners. Your blog post must have a catchy intro, a body, and a conclusion. So start with right structure. The visual content like an image, video, or infographic helps keep your blog post looking interesting and therefore keeps readers' attention. Have clear focus. Try to niche down your blog as sticking to a particular niche, while blogging gives you credibility on that topic. Content has to be posted to your blog regularly because irregular and wide apart posts do not help your blog day in the minds of readers. Make sure to link each blog post to another one of yours to keep readers on your blog page. It encourages self-expression since blogging is a way of expressing our thoughts. It can be therapy for some people. Sometimes you just have to write to feel better. Lots of bloggers have made a ton of money from blogging. Spending a few hours a day blogging is a lucrative business, but have to get things right. Blogger Day attracts more bloggers. This means even more content for us to read, and that's a win-win situation. So finally, today the last commemoration is crop over, which is celebrated in August from 5th to 12th in Barbados. Crop over will begin on August 5th, and which is an old tradition dating back centuries, and is a celebration of Barbados, rich culture and harvest. Barbados was once the most important producer of sugar in the world. At the end of every sugar season, a huge celebration will take place to mark the successful harvest. This is how the crop over celebration started. Today, the summer festival attracts people from all over the world. Crop over features music, singing, dancing, colorful costumes, and much. So we'll get back now to the presentations. So all the presenters who are ready to make their presentations can share their details in chat box so that we can invite you for presentations. So we have one request from Chandini Taneja. Are you there, Ma? Are you ready for with your presentation? Then respond in chat. Okay. So now you will be provided co-host permissions. So do not close any forms or do not relaunch any forms. And you can start your video and audio and share your screen, your presentation by introducing yourself. Follow the presentation guidelines. If there is any form, you can minimize it. Don't close it. Then unmute yourself, start your video, audio and presentation.
Good evening to one and all present here. Sir, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, Marika, go ahead. You are audible and visible.
Myself, Shani Taneja. I'm a postgraduate student and currently pursuing my master's in speech language pathology. Today, I'm here to present my poster first on the topic Socioeconomic Influence on Semantic Fluency, a cross-sectional study, and the supervision has been done by Ms. Tanvi Chaudhary. So I'm going to start with the introduction part. First, I'm going to tell you is what is category fluency or semantic fluency. It's basically a verbal fluency task in which individual is instructed to produce rapid words in 1 minute. Like for the specific category, person need to produce as many as words from the category possible within a period of 1 minute. So semantic fluency task has been found to be affected by number of factors, which includes age, educational experience, race, knowledge of vocabulary and gender, and the impact of socioeconomic status. So, aim of the study was to examine the difference between the performances of high socioeconomic status and the low socioeconomic status children on category fluency tasks in 8 to 9-year-old typically developing Punjabi speaking children. Method. We have taken two groups in the method. First, I'm going to talk about the participants. So participants, we have two groups. One typically developing with 60 participants, and other group consists of high socioeconomic status children and the low socioeconomic status children. And both group contains 30 individuals. And the age rate lies between 8 to 9 years. And all the children are Punjabi speakers. Their native language is Punjabi, and the socioeconomic status of the children was assessed through National Institute for Mentally Handicapped Socioeconomic Status Scale. And the procedure we have followed, we have performed basically semantic fluency for the three categories, and the categories were animal, food items, and vehicles. And they were instructed to produce as many as words possible from the specific category within 60 seconds, within a 60 seconds of time. And the statistical method we have used, first I'm going to talk about the software. The software was Stata SC version 14.2. And firstly, we have firstly we have done the frequency, mean, and standard deviation. Like our continuous variables, the categorized variables were assessed through the mode of mean and standard deviation. Later on, comparison between the groups done through the t-test or the Wilcoxon sign test, and the p-value was considered around 0.05 for statistically significant data. Result in discussion. So in the first table and the table one, you can see qualitative variables of high and low socioeconomic status across semantic fluency tasks is given. So here the mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum value for all three categories were assessed, and the result concluded that animal category had the maximum score, followed by food category and the minimum score separately. The same kind of trend has been seen in the higher and the low society. Study by Ravindra in 2000 has documented similar findings where they have recognized higher scores for animal category followed by food items which include healthy and and after concluding the results of the high and low socioeconomic status across the gender, the findings were also seen. When data was assessed and statistically data was tracked, like as concerned, table 3, qualitative measure for socioeconomic as the gender also related to prevention tasks and the table 3, qualitative measures of high socioeconomic across the gender and semantic fluency test. So all the data has been run to both the groups. Then we have for the gender components. That's been seen in each category, like our food category, has further divided on the basis of their male and female ratio. 16 male and 14 male females. But no significant difference was found between the female and high socioeconomic in terms of their gender. And the p-value was also more than 0.5, 0.05 for all three categories. Semantic fluency task has been clinically effective by gender, use, and ethnicity, and the full study also includes female superiority and semantic fluency. Coming to the conclusion part, the study assessed the influence of socioeconomic status on category fluency tasks. Results reveal significant difference within high socioeconomic and low socioeconomic children, so vital and animal categories, but no significant difference was observed with respect to gender. In comparison between both the groups, scores were superior for high socioeconomic group in all the categories. Next study provided one scores of Punjabi speaker or semantic fluency task. These normative scores in the task must be used in pre and post intervention evaluation, technical and verbal communication abilities. Scores are helpful for younger and non-cooperative children in clinical setting as it's easy, accessible, and effective. So, final evaluation methods with exclusion criteria and the last sample size to have looking more. So this is all about my poster. I have another presentation which is a PowerPoint presentation and it's the other topic. So can I proceed with the other presentation? Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So can I start with another presentation?
The participants, if you have any queries on this presentation, you can ask after this presentation. So you can use chat box as well in the meanwhile. Yeah, you can continue.
The next topic is exploring the effect of socioeconomic strata on verbal fluency in 8 to 9 years of children. And the supervision has been done by Ms. Tanvi Chaudhary now. First, I'm going to start with the introduction part. Phonemic fluency, which is also letter vowel fluency, and the other fluency, and the initial letter fluency pass is basically a measure of fluency and word dictation. In phonemic fluency, words are possible, but when you find phonemes, like we sound fluency management. The phonemic part is various cognitive and linguistic function, including spontaneous or learning, vocabulary knowledge, self-control, attention, persistent speed, planning, working memory, organizational skill, and computer maturity. The assessment is applicable to individual. If someone will be having an impairment in phonemic fluency, that must be related with their frontal lobe lesion or the predominant environment of their left hemisphere. And sometimes the two groups were taken, high socioeconomic status and the low socioeconomic status children. And the comparison has been done with the 60 typically developing children. And each group, like a high socioeconomic status group and the low socioeconomic status group, both included 30 children with the age range of 8 to 9 years. Inclusion criteria was all the participants were native Punjabi speakers and their socioeconomic status determined using the National Institute of Mentally Handicapped, SES, that is our socioeconomic status scale. Exclusion criteria, those participants who reported cognitive or neurological issues, persistent middle ear problems, visual impairment, speech and language difficulties, learning challenges, or any other related problems were excluded from the study. So that was my inclusion and exclusion criteria for the study. And during the study, participants were instructed to verbally produce as many as words possible within the time frame of 60 seconds and using the letter per nerve curve. Like in the earlier study, we have used three different categories. Here we are using three different letters. That is a per sound, ner sound, and the cur sound. And before collecting the actual data, the trial session was conducted. Each correctly articulated word was scored as a point 1, while the other mispronounced and repeated was scored as 0. Statistical analysis was conducted using Stata SC version 14.2. Categorical variables were characterized by indicating their frequency and percentage, while continuous variables were represented by the mean and standard deviation. To compare phonemic abilities between the two groups, t-test was employed. In all statistical analysis, a p-value less than 0.05 was considered statistically significant. So p-value was considered 0.05 and the t-test was run to compare the groups, like our typical Indian developing group and our high and low socioeconomic status group. Results. In the table 1, qualitative variables of high and low socioeconomic children have shown across the tasks. Here you can see the findings for per, na, and cur sound. For each sound, there is two groups, high and low, like 30 individuals in each group. So the higher scores were, as you can see here, in the cur sound, maximum score yielded. If you can see at the maximum section, so the scores have been there, like 14 and 10 for the cur sound and the 10 and 10 for no sound and 10 and 8 for four sound. That means the trend has been like this. The more the score, the maximum the score, the more it's producing the word. So maximally it's for curve, followed by na, and then for four. Table 2, qualitative measure of low socioeconomic group across the gender on phonemic fluency tasks. Here only data for the low socioeconomic status group has been shown, where each group has been further divided. Like for the each sound, male and female division, the gender division has been shown. Male with a 53.33% of ratio and the 14 female with 46.647% of the ratio. And no significant difference was found between two genders of any of these three letters because p value was more than 0.05 in all three sounds or all the three phonemes. Table 3, qualitative variables of correct words for high socioeconomic group across the gender of phonemic fluency task. So similar finding has been seen for the high socioeconomic 3% and 11 females with a ratio of 36.67%. And you can see p value is more than 0.05, signifying again that there was no significant difference was found for across the gender for all three phonemes or all three sounds for Perna and Ka. So in table 1, it's illustrated the comparison of letter fluency tasks between high and low socioeconomic group that we have already discussed, where p-value was significant and the scores were higher for the Ka phoneme followed by per, and then for na. And for the overall total score exhibited p-value of 0.0034, and the overall mean standard deviation score for the high and low socioeconomic group was 16.8 and 12.36 respectively. Discussion. The literature demonstrates variability in phonemic fluency tasks. As you can see, in our study, we have taken per and per sound. But in the literature review, we have found different set of pairs. Some have used per, r, and ver. Some has used ch, for, and l. Because according to the Berry et al. In 2008, he has noted that ch, f, p, and s sound are easier to produce, while l and r are difficult to produce. So they have considered the easier sounds. But in our study, we have taken p and k because it is also consistent with the phonetic characteristics. I am going to talk about the phonetic characteristics of sound. So p sound is a bilabial sound, which is produced from the front of the mouth. And the n sound is produced mid-dorsally from the mid area of the mouth, while the k sound is a velar sound which is produced at the back of the mouth. So all three sounds cover the mechanism for most of the consonant production. Like we are targeting front, middle, and back, all three areas of our mouth. So we have taken children with 8 to 9 years and concluded the higher average score reported for k phoneme followed by n and the p. And these observations align with other study as well, which is a Malayalam study by Prema and Manu. And also these similar findings were reported in different age groups in phonemic fluency tasks. So the study has been done by Harrison, Leonard et al. In 2016 and Koren et al. In 2005. Additionally, according to Gettys in 1964, the frequency of per and k in Punjabi language is 14,167, 2,537, and 131 respectively. So in the other study done by 1964, and the similar sound were taken per and k, and they have found the maximum frequency for the k sound, followed by the per sound, and the lowest for the n sound in Punjabi language only. And comparing children from high and low socioeconomic strata, the study found the mean score for all three phonemes were higher in high socioeconomic group compared to low socioeconomic. Like in our findings, if we can see, the findings were higher for k, then for p, and then for na. But if I am going to compare my high and low socioeconomic group, then the scores were higher for the high socioeconomic. And this is consistent with study by Farah et al. In Evans and Sandberg in 2009, which has been shown that children from the low socioeconomic backgrounds tend to perform worse on working memory tasks compared to their high socioeconomic peers. And this difference can be attributed to their educational level of parents, which influence children's vocabulary development. The acquisition of language in children is significantly affected by the language environment and the qualitative difference in parental language input, which varies significantly across different socioeconomic populations. However, there have been no studies which found no significant difference associated with socioeconomic status in the performance of executive function, working memory, oral, and written. Conclusion. This study primarily investigates the influence of socioeconomic status on phonemic fluency performance. The study finding indicates that children from high socioeconomic status background exhibit better recall of unit of information for the phoneme per n and per as compared to low socioeconomic status group. However, no significant difference was observed for the k phoneme. The overall mean phonemic scores for high and low socioeconomic were 16.8 and 12.36. This suggests that socioeconomic status should be undertaken or should be taken into account when assessing letter fluency tests. These are the references. That is all from my side. I think we are open for questions for discussion if someone is having any question regarding these two presentations. The prior one of the poster presentation and now the PowerPoint presentation of phonemic fluency tasks.
Yeah, participants, if you have any queries, feel free to share in chat box or you can raise your hand. We can unmute you. If you have any queries, observations on these presentations. Okay. So I don't think the presentation was very much clear. So the participants has no queries regarding this. A few appreciation messages are there in chat box. So thank you for your appreciation.
Thank you so much,
So
sir.
you are pursuing which year, ma?
Sir, final year now.
Final year.
Yes.
Okay. So your native language is Punjabi.
Yes, sir. Like I'm a, yeah, like I can speak Punjabi, I can speak Hindi, and I can speak English. Like, um, bilingual, or you can say I'm bilingual. I know three languages.
Okay. What's the reason for choosing Punjabi language?
So
Any
in the
specific
area
reason?
we live in the area like currently I'm in Indore, but prior to this, my whole area was like that only. The data has been collected from the Punjabi state only. So all the children know the native speaker of Punjabi. These Punjabi are really consideration.
Okay. So all are native speakers of Punjabi.
Yes, like we have reached thought that they must be knowing two languages like
Okay. So have you found any
Punjabi and
significant?
Hindi as well. These were the criteria.
Okay. So have
Sorry,
you
sir,
found?
you just wanted some time. Can you repeat again?
So did you observe any significant difference between non-native and native speakers of Punjabi, especially in school environment?
Yeah, we have only considered the Punjabi, the native Punjabi speakers, and we have further provided the group and this is under with the socioeconomic status, high and low. And we have seen a difference in high and low socioeconomic group.
Okay.
All were native Punjabi speakers.
Okay.
Yes.
So in your other study also, you were looking at the socio-economic strata.
Yes.
Uh, uh, how did you come to know about the socio-economic strata of parents?
So there's a scheme which has been given by National Institute of Mental Handicap for socioeconomic status only. So we have found that question, like we have asked the school management to conduct a meeting with the parents, and we have asked questions to parents regarding their socioeconomic status. Like, what was the like we that by the parents would ask questions to them, and then we have finalized like the category and what category that only socioeconomic status. So it's a classification which is given by that system. So your questions are there. Parents have to respond, they have to answer, and then we will decide. Socioeconomic status. So this is the
Okay.
income, the value, the job profile. It is standardized scale that we use.
Okay. So the data was collected from the parents directly,
No, sir,
not from
data
the
was collected
students.
for the socioeconomic status confirmation. We have taken data from the bill. That was the past, like economic fluency times and category fluency times. That data was collected from children only. Because we are seeing how their executive function and memory are compatible with these tasks, these two tasks, like economic fluency task and semantic fluency.
Okay.
Yes.
And the data you have collected from the parents, are they native speakers of Punjabi or they are having bilingual parents or both parents are Punjabi? Did you find any
So,
such significant observations?
like, people are usually bilingual there. Like they speak Punjabi and Hindi also. Because in schools and in environment, they have to speak. So most of the individuals are bilingual. Like they know Punjabi as well. They're speaking Punjabi. They're studying Punjabi in school, and they also know Hindi.
Okay.
So each time we were found like they were bilinguals, like Hindi and Hindi.
So both parents and children are bilinguals.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So because our scenario,
Very well presented.
speaking English.
I think there is some network issue in between.
Yes, sir, possibly because your voice is also lagging in between.
So it was nice presentation. So we wish you all the success and
Thank you,
do
sir.
complete all the formalities that is mandatory for issuing certificate. Kindly go
Yes,
through the presentation guidelines. If you have missed out anything, you can complete it as early as possible before the closure of conference so that you can receive your certificates in time.
sure,
So
sir.
wish you
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
success for your future endeavors. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
So we will move on to next presenter. If there are any, all the presenters we have seen, lot of presenters have registered, but no, there is no confirmation as such given to presenters for acceptance or rejectance because this is a platform where we are promoting everyone, but ensuring at the same time that quality presentations are being done. That's why we are asking you prior to your presentation. We are also verifying from our side that your content is apt or appropriate to the platform and to the theme. So we are observing that in fact the first reason we are not sending confirmations because nowadays earlier we used to give good time like 3 to 6 months, but now due to shortage of time, uh, we are inviting papers in a very short period. So that's why this entire process of reviewing the abstracts and again reviewing the papers and sending confirmations is all done after the presentation. Initially, we are reviewing, but that's why we are asking you to share the PPT as well as papers along with the registration form. So what you can do is, once you register, this is for everyone. Whoever is would like to make presentations, you can register and you can join. And there is also preferred date and time, and that depends on the availability. We are observing that many people are opting for presentations, but they are not, coming forward. That's why we have put an instructions also. Even you can see there is a screen displayed also, most of the time. So even in the mail, even in the registration form, which you are filling up to join this conference or for that matter, any events in this, it is clearly saying, you have to fill the details and then, you need to inform whenever you are joining the platform, you need to inform your presence so that we can take a note of it. And whenever there is a presentation session, we can invite you for the presentations. There is also a format here, which is displayed on the screen. So you can use the format and share. And for detailed presentation, guidelines or instructions, how to make presentation, how to start, and all these things are provided in detail in the presentation guidelines section of website. Even that link is also available, and it is you have also got a link, a copy of registration form in your email. So even in that also you have this presentation guidelines, and which also says that you have to join and whichever day you have opted for, and try to avoid the first and last days, and because that day has other kind of activities like inaugural and valedictory sessions apart from regular presentations. So try to opt appropriately, and the timings kindly be conscious because we see a lot of presenters selecting the wrong timings. The timings are from 6 p.m. every day on whichever day the event is organized. So you have to be mindful of the timings and the dates. Some are selecting some other day on which the event is not happening, and some are selecting the date which on which they are filling it up, which is quite earlier than the conference dates. So kindly read the instructions carefully. Don't make such mistakes, and fill the details properly, completely. And also, when you are filling up, when you are getting a copy, that itself is a confirmation for you all, and you can join, and you can make a request and make presentation. In between, after registration, you need to send your PPT and your details to the email address. That format is there in the presentation guidelines. So that you need to follow, so that we also know what kind of content is coming up. And if there are any changes, we can help you out. See, mostly, as you are being supervised by some expert, so mostly there will be no, corrections required. But in some cases where, especially when certain topics are selected, or when there is a lack of proper guidance, there is a possibility of, certain changes or modifications. That's why it's always go through the website, follow the instructions carefully. It doesn't take much time. You can save a lot of time, and you will be aware of what to do, do's and don'ts on this platform. And it is also very easy for you to guide through the process and become eligible for the certificates. It's not only just for participants, for as well as for presenters also. Kindly go through the instructions carefully. We are also observing that participants are not filling the feedback form. They are leaving without filling the feedback form. Again, that will cause, an issue with regard to certificate. So every day, join in time, fill the registration form. Anyway, registration form is open till the feedback form is launched. So that is theirs, because people are joining late. And we also got many requests that, most of the nation is having heavy rains. So in that case, we have one more opportunity also for every, event. We have pre-recorded session, pre-recorded presentation, where you can record it whenever you have the convenience of your time and place, because there might be a technical, technical issue, or as we are also organizing after work hours, sometimes it is getting late. Sometimes it may not be possible for you to present directly. So utilize this option, of pre-recorded sessions. Kindly follow the guidelines. Don't keep any advertisements, or don't keep any, have a plain background, and start your video and start your audio. You can start your Zoom, a new meeting in your Zoom, and you can start your audio, video, and following the presentation guidelines, you can introduce yourself, start recording, and you can follow the presentation guidelines and start your presentation with your introduction, then share your PPT, and then conclude it in a proper way. And you can stop recording, and you can send that recording. And while recording, ensure that you are in a silent place so that other sounds, background sounds or noises are avoided, and ensure that there is a plain background wherever you are. Sit in one place or stand at one place so that there is no distractions around, even in the video also. Try to have a plain background. If you have some plain curtain or cloth or a plain wall, wherever, a single color, especially light colors, that will help you, and also keep your voice at the highest volume so that when you are recording, you will not face any issues. So you can send that, you can upload that video into your Google Drive, and along with that, you can share your PPT, full paper or abstract, whatever is there, and you can send your presentation. That is also there. Always try to present live so that you will also get the pulse of participants and also organizers. You can receive feedback on your presentations. Even if you are anticipating any such technical issues, you can have, if you are not able to present also, you can use it. You can be there and we can help you to play that pre-recorded session. And you can take up queries after this session, as you will be there live. And if there are any certain technical glitches, that's why we have provided this option for everyone. You can utilize this option and use it where we have seen, lot of areas are being flooded and it's heavily raining. So evening time, we are seeing that many places, even the power is not there and certain issues are there. So use this facility, those who have registered, If you are not able to attend in this timing, particular timing, you can opt for pre-recorded session. You can record it and you can send that, you can upload it to Google Drive. And when you are sharing the link, ensure that you are giving permissions. Anyone with the link, there will be an option. So just select that and you share the link so that we can also access the video, presentation, so that we can download it and play at appropriate time. And for, as already mentioned, so all details are there on the website for e-certificate related queries. You can also see a website link. So that link provides you all the details of e-certificate. And if you miss any formalities later on, you have always the opportunity to request a certificate. So there you will find in the presentation guidelines and the e-certificate support link, both will help you to understand the process. And both presentation and participation certificates are different. Presentation certificates are only for those who are making presentations. Participation certificate is for both presenters as well as participants who are participating, having minimum attendance on each day, whichever day you are attending. After the conference, certificates are not issued on that day itself because you need to fill a feedback form, overall feedback form at the end of the conference that will be shared only in the valedictory session and after the valedictory session on the website. So you can see a link, feedback link on the website. That link has to be filled by you as you are filling the registration form, Google registration form. Similar Google feedback form will be there after the conference or in the last session, on the last day, that session will be having, we will be sharing the registration form. There you can fill, once you fill that, you will be getting certificates. So all these details are there. Without reading them, you will be having daily, you are not sure. And because we keep getting messages, yesterday also and today also, we have attended, but we did not get certificate. That is, you are not reading the instructions. If you have read, you are aware of when to ask certificate, where to check for certificates, and what are the formalities. All details are there on the website. So spend time. You are only responsible for your certificates. If you follow all the formalities only, you will be getting the certificate. So it is your responsibility. So read the instructions carefully. It is very simple. Only thing is you need to follow. Just register yourself for the overall conference event and also provide feedback. So whether you attend one day or all days, whether you present one paper or many papers on different days, you have to fill the registration form and feedback form. So both the links will be available on the website, but the day-to-day attendance will be only available through Zoom platform. So day-to-day attendance, based on day-to-day attendance and the registration and feedback, you will be getting your certificate for each day. So that everything will be computed by system only automatically. We cannot enter anything manually. So that's why I'm saying your certificate is your responsibility. Only if you complete everything, system will automatically generate it. In case it happens, because we all are humans and we all have a lot of negligence also on our part. That is also there. We have seen, because quite many times it happened. And people do not complete, or because they do not read the instructions. What they do, they just ignore it, and after some time they come back saying, I didn't receive certificate. But you need to complete. That's why on the screen also it is clearly mentioned for participants and also for presenters. For both it is applicable. You have to register through Google form and you have to provide feedback through Google form. And apart from that, every day you need to register yourself. That marks your attendance for the day and makes you eligible for the e-certificate for that day, because for entire conference you are not getting single certificate. Earlier we were doing so, but it is being misused. We observed it couple of times, and there were also concerns from many other participants saying that they are attending just one day, but they are getting whole, and we are attending. So what's the difference? They are also getting demotivated, and such concerns are there, which are very genuine. That's why we have divided it, because some people are attending on only specific days and others, and they are losing their, certificate on the days they are participating. So to address many such queries, we keep receiving many such feedbacks, queries. So based on that, we have divided on a day-to-day basis. So every day, no matter what is the duration of the events, certificates are always issued for that day-to-day basis on that day. So if it is a 10 days conference, or if it is a 3 days conference or 2 days conference, you will not get a single certificate. It is for only if it is a 1 day, you will be getting only one certificate for the entire event. If it is multiple days, then every day. So if it is for say 10 days, so you are going to get 10 certificates for each day, provided you are completing all the formalities. So every day you need to register and provide feedback in the Zoom platform. So that makes you eligible for that day. But to be eligible for the entire event, you need to fill the Google registration form and also fill the Google feedback form before starting and at the end of the conference last. So that is mandatory. So if you are attending one day, if you are presenting and you are not participating also, ensure that uh, only once you read all these instructions, you will be able to follow them. That's why take time, go there and read it. And we are also sending email, and many are not reading those emails. That is also one more concern where you will you are missing out on that. So visit website and keep checking to after 2 or 3 working days. Give some time to get links to be updated and wait patiently and verify. Don't assume anything. Verify, cross verify. If you think that something has gone wrong, fill the forms again, but don't be in a panic mode. Wait for 2 3 days before you fill it up again, and ensure that don't leave any columns, any fields, because that will any incomplete forms, invalid forms are not considered. So fill all the details with correct details, proper details, so that system considers it and will become eligible for the certificate. This process is very simple, so don't complicate it. And because we all are putting good efforts, and I want you everyone to also, along with lots of learning, I want you to get a token of appreciation, which is a certificate. So, and follow all the instructions. Don't think that it is not mandatory, because everything is handled by system. It's not manual. So even we cannot help you if things are not completed in time. So as participants were asking, for yesterday's day before yesterday, we are getting some messages. So for them also, for everyone, including them, everyone, we are telling, kindly go through the website or go through the link which has been provided in chat box as well as on the registration forms. There, after the conference, you have to wait for 3 to 5 working days, where the certificates will be generated and updated, provided you complete all these formalities. It is registration, feedback for the entire event, and day-to-day registration feedback that marks your attendance in Zoom platform. This will make you eligible. For presentations, additional task is, you have to share your details to the email address. That format is available, and you need to complete your presentation. So if presenters also require participation certificates, so they need to participate. Only presentation will not fetch them participation. Participation is different, presentation is different. If you want participation, then you can also opt for participation and attend the entire session, or the minimum attendance. The minimum attendance is also mentioned on the website. You can check. You make sure you cross-check yourself whether you are following and whether you are having the eligibility criteria. You are maintaining minimum attendance or not. So we are not going to repeat this every day, because we have got a few messages even today also in chat box. So that's why we are telling we are not going to repeat this. That's why the screen is there. Kindly go there, participants, presenters. You check the details. If you still have any doubts, it is very much clear. Only if you are not reading it properly, then you might have doubts. Otherwise, it's very much clear. So follow them, and let's all together help each other in conducting the sessions. And if you have any suggestions, on any topic you would like to present, or any topics you'd like to have sessions, you can always put it in feedback form, or even in registration form also there is a column for suggestions, feedback. You can put it there so that we can try to incorporate them in upcoming sessions. So this is with regarding to certificates, registration and other formalities. So no certificates, finally, no certificates will be sent to you personally, or even in your emails. So all the certificates will be updated on the website itself. So on the same web page, on the conference website, you can download, you can see there is a link. So you can open your email in that registration form. You will have, conference website. Once you click on that, it will open the conference website. There you can find e-certificate links. There will be a Google Drive link for a separate link for presentation certificates and participation certificates. So only those who are completing all the formalities within the time, the disclosure of conference, certificates are generated and updated there. So hope that is clear with regard to certificates. So there are no support through calls, WhatsApp, social media, or anything. Only support that you have is through email. So you have to send email, no calls are entertained, because there is not required, basically, there is no need to contact us. If you follow the system, automatically you will get all the benefits. So follow the system. If you have any queries, at the end of the sessions, after sharing the filling of the feedback form, you can ask any queries or any clarifications required. We'll be able to support you. Hope you all understand, because a lot of efforts, time is required to attend individually. So, and that is not always possible. So with this, we'll move on to myth busting. Yesterday, we were doing some myth busting on breastfeeding, right? So I will just briefly we'll try to recollect what we were discussing yesterday regarding various myths related to breastfeeding. So we were so various myths were like breastfeeding is easy. Yes, mostly the experience of breastfeeding is easy and comfortable, but it takes time and practice for both mothers as well as babies, because that experiences varies from individual to individual, baby to baby, and even for the same individual, it will be different from baby to baby. So if you are a mother already, if you are a mother with children, you also know that you have experienced, not every baby is having, similar experience. So that's why it's all learning process. It takes time and practice, but once you get used to it, you will embrace the breastfeeding, because it is the best thing you can do for your baby. And there is also another myth that we were talking about: breastfeeding hurts. And as part of that, sore nipples are also inevitable. But we have also discussed in detail, breastfeeding doesn't hurt. But when it hurts, when you are not positioning your baby, when you are not properly latching your baby to your breast, then that improper position, improper latching can hurt you and also your baby. That's a simple logic. When you sit chair on your chair, on your sofa, or on your bed lying, if you don't lie properly, what will happen? You start feeling, discomfort, and slowly you feel pain, stress, and slowly aching will start. And if you continue for a longer period, then you also start straining your body or particular body part. And that, if it continues for longer time, then it will lead to musculoskeletal disorders. So even the same thing happens here. So only thing is you have to ensure that you are comfortable and baby is comfortable, and you can see, observe by yourself how comfortable you are and your baby is. If you are, both are happy, enjoying the breastfeeding, and both are contented, both are satisfied, satiated, that means everything is going fine. And coming to sore nipples, it is due to improper latching most of the time. So once you learn the best way of latching and best way of positioning the baby, then most of the issues related to sore nipples are solved. And there was also one myth that you should wash your nipples or breasts before breastfeeding, unless and until you are in unhygienic conditions, or you are in extreme temperatures where you are extremely sweating, or there are certain issues where you feel that you are in unhygiene situation, then only you need to wash your breasts or nipples. Otherwise, it's not required. Generally, it is not necessary. Of course, there's some sweat is also there that is produced by breast, that to attract the baby and to identify mother, to identify baby. Every body has a unique smell, and baby can recognize it. Like you can see even in the herd also, how animals, especially you see thousands of cows and thousands of calves. And once you leave them, the calf will find her mother cow, no matter how many cows are there. How it is possible? Because every animal, every human being also has a unique smell. See such a wonderful creation God has given to identify. So child can identify and sense by smell. So that is why, you need not, wash unless and until you feel there are some hygiene issue. So nipples produce also a substance that the baby smells and has a good bacteria also that helps to build baby's own health immune system, which is essential, right? And we were discussing on various issues like whether to keep both mother and baby together, and so that or we should separate them so that mother have adequate rest. That again depends on the mother. There are also, we cannot deny there are troublesome babies also. Yeah, and based on the situation and context, if required, you can separate them. But it is always advisable to have baby and mother together. And you can see also through proper management and training. So most of the times, babies either feed or sleep. Most of the time they sleep. And the rest of the time, whenever they are awake, most of the time they are on breastfeeding. So once they are having their happy feeding, breastfeeding, they will immediately go to sleep, right? And whatever the little time they are awake and doing other activity, so that time you can enjoy. So most of the time, it's our parenting style, how we are managing our child depends on that. So you both learn together. Your child will be teaching you, and you have to teach your child. Both have to train each other and adjust, adapt, so that you both are comfortable with each other. You learn in that process. That process is very important. That's why, to establish that bond, because we see most of the communication that happens is non-verbal communication. Only what we communicate through words, language is very much limited to 15 to 20%. Rest everything goes non-verbal through various modalities like touch, like all the auditory faculties like smell, touch, hearing, speaking, and all these things, right? So even with the baby also, 80% of the communication, 80 to 85% of the communication happens non-verbal. Without speaking a word, even mother communicates to the baby and baby communicates to the mother. So that's why these sensory modalities have to keep motivating, have to engage in communicating. That's why mother and child has to be together. And yeah, managing, some are very good naturally, but some needs to learn how to manage. So with experts' guidance, you will be able to manage your baby so that you also can have good rest. Otherwise, if you have someone else to take care of your baby, so you can take rest while the baby is taken care of your caregiver. And there was also one more myth we were talking about: you should only eat plain food while breastfeeding. So always have sattvic food, fresh, nutritious, eco-friendly, natural food, organic food. It is always good for your child as well as you. So it is best to consult if there are any reactions, allergic reactions to food for you as well as your baby. If there is any such allergic reaction, then you need to consult an expert and you can get it treated, or you can avoid or replace that food so that you can get adequate nutrition. And we were also talking about physical activity while breastfeeding, and that affects the taste of your milk. This is also a myth. And for breastfeeding mothers, there is no such evidence. So you can do your normal routine, you can do whatever you are doing, you can work, everything. So that is not going to affect taste in any way. Of course, the taste of breast milk depends on various other factors that also we'll see in coming days. So just because you are doing some physical activity, that doesn't alter the taste of your breast milk. There are a lot of taboos, myths, which are prevalent. These are quite common, and yeah. So we were also discussing on the continuity of breastfeeding. That is very important because you need to get proper stimulation for your breast to produce milk. Otherwise, what happens over a period of time? The milk production will stop gradually. It will not stop in one day. It will gradually, the amount of milk produced gets reduced, and slowly, as the milk is decreasing and there is no stimulation for the milk production, and one day the entire milk production will stop. Now, what happens then? The baby is deprived of breast milk. So that's why Whether you are actively feeding, how many days or how many times you are feeding or not, that is not that important. You continue to breastfeed. If you are working, you are away from your baby, you can express your milk, store it generally for 24 hours in ideal temperature conditions. The breast milk, expressed breast milk, can be stored for 24 hours in normal temperature. Always try to, take you have an idea by observing your child how much your child is consuming at what times. So accordingly, you can express your breast milk, store it in a safe, clean, hygienic conditions, and feed the baby at appropriate time whenever the baby demands. And once you come back, you can directly feed your baby. So in that way, you are, even when you are away from your baby for longer periods also, still that stimulation will be there, and you can still continue to produce breast milk. So don't think that even if I don't anyway I'm going to stop in next 3 months, or anyway I'm going to you know stop it some, or at one point of time, don't stop breastfeeding. See, every day, every session of breastfeeding is very important. So that's why you have to ensure that the baby is breastfed, and you ensure that the baby is properly, adequately breastfed, so that the baby meets the nutritional requirements, and you also get proper stimulation, so that your milk production continues. So never use formula if you want to breastfeed. Again, if you use any other alternative, your baby may dislike, or maybe more giving more preference to some other uh, thing. And, because of that, the essential nutrients which the baby is getting from breast milk, that is lost. So that will make the child undernutrition, undernutritious or malnutritious. That's why it's always recommended that only after 6 months, or if your milk production is not adequate, then, because to meet the energy requirements of the baby, nutritional requirements of baby, then this formula milk or additional supplements are recommended. Or now there is an alternative, as we have breast milk banks also set up in various hospitals, like especially these women and child hospitals, pediatric hospitals, uh, where the maternity care is being taken and pediatric care is provided. Now, even many organizations are coming up forward. So you can also donate any excess milk, which if you are able to produce any excess milk than your baby requirements, you can donate that extra milk to other babies. In that way, you will also contribute to the health and well-being of the babies. And there is also one more myth. We were talking that many mothers can't produce enough milk. So this happens due to various reasons, like how the baby is latched to your breast and frequency of breastfeeding, how well the baby is removing the milk, that means with each feeding, how much milk the baby is consuming, how much milk you are producing, and what kind of diet and nutrition the mother is taking. So all these factors decide, and accordingly you need to take professionals' help if you are not able to produce adequate milk. How do you know whether you are producing adequate milk or not? See, your baby tells that. Your child tells that. If your child is still feeling hungry, even after breastfeeding each session, then that means you are not able to produce enough milk. Otherwise, also, generally, on an average, every mother produces around each breast of a nursing mother, produces somewhere around 650 to 850 ml of milk each day. So that comes around 1.5 liter on an average from two breasts. So that's why you keep changing both the breasts so that baby will have adequate milk. So generally what happens if you have twins or triplets or quadruplets, at that time you will face the issue of inadequate breastfeeding, because two babies will be sharing the same breast milk. So the quantity might not suffice. Generally, nature knows what best for us. So in that cases also you get additional milk production. But in due to some medical conditions or due to lack of proper stimulation or due to various reasons, if there is no adequate milk, so there are other alternatives also. But in general, every mother can produce enough milk for their baby. In general, exceptional cases are always there in everywhere and everything. But that is rare, rarest of the rare and rare. Only if there is some medical condition or due to any other condition, mother is not able to produce enough milk, then we have other alternatives as well. And yeah, there is one more myth also, that if you are sick, you shouldn't breastfeed. Again, so see, depends on the illness. Again, so mothers can usually continue breastfeeding when they are sick. You don't, you need to make sure that you are getting the right treatment. So especially, mothers, if they are not well, take medication immediately. Whether it may be, home remedies also fine. But the symptoms have to be treated, addressed immediately. Whether it may be home remedy, whether you are taking Ayurveda, or whether you are taking, allopathy or Unani, whatever it may be. But you need to immediately address that symptom. Otherwise, what happens, it can also affect your baby. So that's why if you are sick, immediately take proper treatment, whichever treatment it may be. That is up to you, because now we have Ayush, so you have your choice of treatment. You are the one who decides which treatment you have to take. So it's completely left to you. So whatever it is, ensure that you are taking proper treatment for it so that you can continue breastfeeding. And always, when you are feeling yourself sick, make sure first thing is right treatment. And second thing is, no matter whether you are sick or not, even when you are healthy also, take proper rest, eat in time, and drink enough water. These three are very important for everyone, not only just for sick people, but even for healthy people also. If these three things go well, then most of the time you are healthy. We don't take adequate water. We don't eat proper food in time. And we don't take proper rest, adequate rest, that too in time. First thing is taking proper time, proper food, and proper rest in appropriate timing. We should have a proper discipline. If these things go on well, you will have a very good health. Forget about other things. So when you are sick, you need more rest so that body can take over and repair itself. So eat which is easily digestible, which is highly nutritious, that can help you to recover soon, and drink more water or more liquid food so that it is easily digestible, and take enough rest so that body can recover soon. And along with that, if there are any symptoms, try to treat those symptoms, address those symptoms. And in many cases, antibodies make or antibodies, especially when you are using antibodies to treat any disease, that will pass on to your baby, building their own deficiencies and defenses. So you have to be careful, especially when you are taking medication. Always consult doctor. Certain medications are to be avoided when you are pregnant or when you are breastfeeding, because those can be harmful to your child. So whenever you are taking any medicine, kindly check with your medical professional, doctor or pharmacist, whether this medicine is safe. Sometimes certain medicines can be taken, but with certain precautions. So you also need to know the precautions. Sometimes it may be in terms of quantity, in terms of the duration, or it may be an alternate. So you need to check with your health professional. So unless and until you are advised by the professional, so don't stop breastfeeding even if you are sick. Unless and until it is a contagious disease or any such thing that is causing an issue, immediate issue, then you need to avoid breastfeeding. But that also on medical doctor's advice. So that is also will rarely happen. And yeah, as already addressed, you can't take any medication if you are breastfeeding. That is also a myth. You can take safer medications are also there, which do not have any side effects, which do not affect, the breastfeeding activity. So read the instructions. With any medications you buy over the counter, it may be necessary to take medications at a specific time or a specific dosage, or to take an alternative formulation. You should also tell your baby's doctor about medications that you are taking. Not only your doctor, but any pediatrician. If you are consulting for your baby, you have to take both consultation and take, so that you ensure your baby and yours health and well-being. The first milk or colostrum is rich in antibodies and gives newborns an immunity boost while their own immune systems are still developing. That's why, the first milk, that's why as soon as the baby is born, you try to breastfeed as early as possible. Now, there is also another myth that is associated commonly. Now, babies who have been breastfed are clingy. All babies are different. In fact, we all are also different, right? Some are clingy and some are not. So no matter what, how they are fed, breastfeeding provides not only the best nutrition for infants, but it is also important for the developing brain. So breastfed babies help a lot. And because of this, breastfeeding has been shown to enhance bonding with their mother. So it all depends again on the parenting style and how you are managing those emotions and bonding. And there is also another myth, that is, it is hard to wean a baby if you breastfeed for more than a year. Now, see, many times this is one of the reason the mothers also stop breastfeeding. They think that, if we continue breastfeeding for longer, child will get used to it, and, he or she will not leave the breastfeeding and will continue to demand even for longer periods. That's why naturally, what happens over a period of time, the nature also bestowed that you cannot produce milk for the entire lifetime, right? Of course, you are having that potential, but you know, for every gestation, for every pregnancy period, generally you can breastfeed if you are having a very good routine, can continue to breastfeed up to 2 to 3 years. But the quantity of milk production will be reduced gradually. So by 2.5 to 3 years, you will almost have the breastfeeding will stop, the milk production will stop. That will help you to, again start preparing for the next baby. So by 3 years, the baby is independent on feeding, because by that time, the baby has very little dependence on breast milk. Even by 1.5 year, 2 years only, they are very less dependent on the breast milk. So they might be demanding on and off, but not on a daily basis. And that also you can slowly stop using certain training methods. There are various methods that you can adapt, but because if you think that it is hard or more difficult to stop breastfeeding after 1 year, and that's the reason you are stopping breastfeeding, then you are depriving your baby of additional, adequate nutrition. So because some parents are able to afford, and they have going for alternative health food and nutrition, which is adequate, so they can discontinue breastfeeding. But my suggestion is, or what World Health Organization and the medical fraternity is saying, is continue breastfeeding as long as you can. That will help your baby a lot. Now it's up to you, but the medical fraternity says you continue breastfeeding as long as you can. Because see, why it is being stopped nowadays is they are sent to school, they are being sent to play school and all. So now mothers are also working, so they need to manage. So that's why they are just even many are not preferring to breastfeed, and even if they are doing it till 6 months and they are stopping. There are alternative methods, like as we were discussing, to express breast milk and then feed the baby. That option is also there. So you can continue your work, your routine, and also take care of your baby. So there is a lot of evidence that saying that breastfeeding up to 2 years and beyond is beneficial only. There is nothing that is disadvantage or non-beneficial. It is only an added advantage as long as you can continue. And the evidence also says that it is beneficial for both mothers and children. So all mothers and babies are different and need to determine together how long they want to breastfeed. Again, it is the baby and the mother both together have to decide how long to be continued. If baby no longer wants breastfeeding and mother also thinks that, okay, baby doesn't need because alternative, food is provided, feed is provided, then fine. They both can decide. But every mother and baby has different requirements. So don't worry about that. The longer you breastfeed and, uh, until child will get used to it and demanding even in later years. No, because child is also developing, right? Child is also observing other children, and they also observe whether they are at their peer group, especially, whether they are still breastfed or not. They observe all things and they learn, and automatically they start, stopping certain things by themselves. So no need to worry about that. And if you go back to work, you will have to wean the baby, as we have been discussing again and again. So many mothers continue breastfeeding after going back to work. First, check the policies in your country and your own workplace. If you have the right to time and a place to breastfeed during working hours, you may be able to go to home and breastfeed. Ask a family member or a friend to bring your baby to you, or express your milk and take it home. If you don't have the option to breastfeed during working hours, look for the moments during the day to express your milk and then feed your baby directly when you are at home. If you decide to give your baby a breast milk substitute for feeds, it is still very good to continue breastfeeding whenever you are with your baby. So there are a lot of options. Even when you are at workplace, generally people are, see, this is quite common and it's a common sense. When you are mother, nursing mother, at least if you don't allow or if there is no provision to bring baby, at least you can provide some space where a nursing mother can express her milk and store it and feed the baby, or can directly breastfeed her baby. Even now, see, the business also have their own constraints, limitations in terms of space, in terms of budget and all. It all depends on, you know, the management and the administrators and the employees and all. Some are very good, friendly towards such policies. Some don't want to create, you know, any kind of disturbance. So they don't want, they are better, managing or providing maternal leave or paternal leave. And there are certain issues, again, the internal dynamics. You need to manage them. So you need not be discontinue breastfeeding, even if you're going to work. You have alternative methods, consult a lactation consultant who will help you to continue breastfeeding. So there are many other myths. So if you have any, you can just keep sharing in the chat box and we will be happy to address them. Even if it is not today or immediately, we'll get back to you. So yeah, there is one query. What advice should you give to a mother with mastitis? Okay. And is afraid to breastfeed because of pain. So this is also one, common problem. Common in the sense, among the problems, this is also one general problem that is being faced by some mothers. This mastitis. There are medication for that. where it will help you to reduce pain and also in recovery. And again, you should see for everything, all such, we need to look at the etiology of the disease or disorder. Why it has come in the very first place. What are the factors that caused that? Without understanding that, it would be difficult to us. So we can address that. So if it is just the pain, and yesterday we were discussing about glands that are producing. Even some part of the glands are dysfunctional. They are not producing milk. There are some other glands which are very active or proactive, and they continue to produce milk. So we need to do proper assessments, and accordingly, we can provide medication so that the mother can continue her breastfeeding. Otherwise, also there are various other methods where without undergoing much pain, you can also still continue breastfeeding, like expressing with vacuum pumps or manual pumps or different other methods where identifying the hot spots of pain and avoiding that spots and trying to you know express the milk or trying to nurse the baby. So there are different methods. What best you can do is we will try to cover this topic as well. I have noted down. So whatever you have suggestions or queries, keep putting it and in the appropriate section, or we will have one session exclusively uh, that we will be covering all the topics of your queries. So generally, we need to find out the etiology, consult a lactation consultant, and she or he will be able to suggest you. Or if you can provide us in more details about that particular case, we can also suggest. So you can reach out to us through feedback, or even you have contact number, email IDs also. If you need any expert guidance on case-to-case basis, we welcome you. You can mail it, all the documents and records, and we'll ensure that confidentiality is maintained, and we will also give you appropriate solution or suggestion. So feel free to keep sharing, and all the messages are private, so no need to worry. If you are asking some too personal question also, no need to worry. So it will directly reach the host and co-host, and we'll share with the expert and we'll get back to you. Even if you are not able to share in public also, fine. Keep putting it in chat box. So yeah, anything else? So we have covered these myths. There are also lots of myths, yesterday someone was asking, about breast size and the quantity of milk production. That is also one myth, that breast size and milk production doesn't directly, both are not directly proportional. Irrespective of breast size, you can produce adequate milk. Actually, the breast size depends on how much fatty tissue the breast contain. Because what does breast contain? Before we, try to address, we need to understand what actually breast is made of. Breast is made of tissues, and fatty tissues. The more fat that is stored in the breast, the more bigger the breast will be. As simple as that, for simple understanding. The lesser fat in the breast, the smaller the breast will be. So it all depends on the how much fatty tissue breast contains. So the more the fatty tissue, even you also see, some are very fluffy, good healthy, we call them healthy because they have more fat content in their body. So we call, fluffy, like teddy bear, a good, this thing. But some are very lean, thin, some are, okay, average. So why this difference? Because it's because of the fatty tissue that our body is having. And when it comes to breast size also, it is irrelevant, because it's just how much of fatty tissues your breast is contained. And breast feeding or breast milk production actually happens in the lobules and milk ducts, right? Lobules generate milk, and from the milk ducts, the milk pass and carry from lobules to the nipple. So now it is irrelevant whether what size of breast, it doesn't matter. As long as there are enough these lobules. So the more the lobules, the more the milk production. The more effective the lobules are, the greater the milk production. The whatever milk that is produced is passed through the milk ducts, and through the breast nipple, the baby is able to feed. So that is a myth. So, even a small breast can also produce the same amount of milk as a woman with large breasts. But the only difference is, to some extent, it is only the storage capacity, right? Milk production does not get affected. Only what gets affected is the storage. If it is a small breast, then the storage capacity is less. If it is a big breast, then the storage capacity is more. But that doesn't affect the breastfeeding, adequate nutrition, because the frequency, the more, again, it all depends on emptying of breast. Once the baby consumes the milk, again, the milk starts producing. So once the baby consumes the milk, again, the milk starts producing. So this continues regularly. So the only thing is the number of breast feeding sessions will increase because it takes time, and that is very negligible, and that is also quite natural. And so that is the only major difference, if at all. That is also not much significant, difference. But if at all there is any difference, it's only in the storage capacity. And that is also adequate, but baby also get used. So they will take more times, more sessions, in fact. That is only the difference. So you need not worry. So the baby will be taking less milk. If breasts are small, the baby will be taking less milk in each session, but the number of sessions will increase. The breasts are more. See, again, it depends on baby also. See, we also, as an adult, we would like to consume more in certain times, less in certain times. Or some people have a habit of eating small quantities many times. Some people have a habit of consuming lump sum or huge sum of amount at one particular time, or for the entire day they will be eating once only, but they will eat all the 3 times at once. That is also happening. So it all depends. But as long as your nutritional requirements are met, as long as your body is adjusted to that, no, there is no harm. So only the number of sessions will increase. So no need to worry. So you can utilize different breastfeeding positions. And especially one more thing is the bigger the breast, again, you need to adjust the positions because it can block your child's nostrils. And you need to adjust the breast position. So the breast position or the child position or your breastfeeding position accordingly. And we also yesterday discussed about good symptoms, like if your breast feels softer, then it is a good sign that baby has consumed milk, so that your breast will feel lighter, softer, and slowly you will sense that there is a fullness in the breast after some time. That happens again because the milk is generated and baby can continue for the next session of breastfeeding. And this initially you will feel, observe, you will have that feeling, but you will get used to it over a period of time, and you will not observe, you will not continue to observe that significantly. That will be there, but you will not feel much difference because you got used to it, and you naturally will know whether your baby has taken proper feeding or not. And there is also one more concern, that there are more milk in one breast than the other. Uneven milk supply, this also occurs, due to several reasons. As I have mentioned, the number of more milk ducts and also the let down factor, what we call. Let down factor is from the source to the nipples, how frequently, fluently the milk is flowing. The pull factor. So that let down also impacts your baby, and also it again, see, some are very good holding baby on the right side and some are good on the, we have that natural preference over right and left. Even that positions also, how you are holding your baby, how comfortable you are on the right side, left side. That also, again, it depends on various factors, or like, the number of lobules and the number of, milk ducts, how effective you are. It is also possible that one breast is producing more milk than other breast. So that is also concern. But you need not worry much about that. It's baby preference and the kind of stimulation that gets. If there is any medical, issue underlying that, that can also be treated. But in general, you need not worry about such having such things. Okay. And yeah, relating to this cosmetic or kind of aesthetic looks, women are more concerned nowadays that the way the breast look after they become mothers or when they start breastfeeding. See, that's not a big thing. It is quite natural, and it is in the best interest of you and as well as your child. You are breastfeeding. Definitely, after pregnancy, your areolas might turn a darker color and your breast can become heavier than before, preparing your body for breastfeeding. And your breasts are also heavier, right? And because of these things, you might need more support to carry them comfortably and also adequately take care of them. And definitely, because of all these, they will look different. At least not completely different, but a slightly different, a little different at the time of pregnancy and post pregnancy. So once you are done with your breastfeeding, these wonderful experiences, these wonderful memories will be staying with you forever. And remember that, all breasts aren't created the same. Like all humans are not created same. We are not replica of, one thing. Otherwise, everyone would look similar, right? Same kind of characteristics, same will become a replica, a carbon copy of each and everyone. Why? We have similar, differences. That's because, everyone is little different from other. They are all designed, they are all manufactured. They are all produced to enjoy and embrace the amazing benefits of breast milk for your little ones, for your loved ones. So you need not worry about that. So you need not worry about that as well, Mm. And any other queries, feel free to ask. Uh, we shall address them. Regarding Yeah. So one more message. Yes, that's also myth where the mother who is breastfeeding become pregnant. They believe that breastfeeding baby will be sucking dirty, so they stop breastfeeding baby. Yes, this is also a myth. See, breast milk is always pure, always nutritious, and always of good hygiene because there is no contamination that happens. So whether there is no point of being dirty or anything like that, especially for breast milk. So you can continue even if mother is pregnant also. You can continue as long as you can. So you need not stop breastfeeding to baby. See, that's why this gap is also very important between one child and another child. So that the baby is adequately minimum 2 years gap or minimum 3 years gap, so that the baby is completely. That's why people say you should have minimum 2 years gap or 3 years gap between a child, so that you can take care of the child. The first initial 1,000 days are very crucial, and if you have baby every year, then it will be more difficult for you to manage. And based on your conditions prevailing, it may be socio-economic, cultural, religious. For certain communities, it may not be always possible to take care of uh, all the things. So sometimes you might be stressed, and your child also gets affected by that. So that's why it is important that you have a good break so that you also completely regain yourself and be prepared for the next pregnancy. So you also have the opportunity to concentrate on the next baby once your existing baby's requirements are taken care of. So in that sense also always maintain that gap is always advisable, good, and promoted also to have at least 2 years gap between baby and baby. So anything else you'd like to ask, feel free to share. We'll be able to address it. So there are certain common reasons or causes for low milk supply also. So is a query related to poor milk supply. The first thing, as already discussed, mostly we have discussed. The thing is proper positioning and latching. Poor latching and poor positioning, that causes sore nipples. So that poor latching or poor positioning with or without sore nipples is also a reason for cause of low milk supply or less milk supply. And one more issue is the nipples. They are protruded nipples, inverted nipples, flat nipples, different kind of nipples on the breast that impact the kind of latching. So those who are having flat nipples or inverted nipples, that is, nipple coming outside the breast, is an ideal for the baby to comfortably latch. But some people will have a flat nipple, that is, the nipple will not protrude out of breast and it will be the level of the surface level of the breast. You cannot see a nipple protruding outside of the breast. The nipple is also at the same surface level of the breast. In that case, the baby might have difficulty in latching. So that also provides less stimulation. That is also one cause of low milk supply. So whenever there is an issue or when there is a concern of, when there is situation of that, like inverted nipples or flat nipples or sore nipples, there are different kind of, concerns that can, that needs to be addressed. Then that also will cause less stimulation and that will again impact the milk production. And not breastfeeding or not expressing. If baby is not adequately fed, so that kind of stimulation is lacking again, that will also hamper the milk production, both in, quantitative. And when you are expressing, when you are not feeding the baby directly, when you are expressing your milk, it should be also done often so that it stimulates the breastfeeding activity so that the milk is generated. And changing feeding patterns also sometimes cause less milk production. Sometimes what happens, whole day mother is at workplace and so mother is not able to adequately provide stimulation as baby is away and she cannot feed baby, and through suckling and reflexes the breast get the adequate stimulation so that it drains out the milk and also stimulates the breast to produce more milk. So gradually over a period of time, if this is happening, and also baby sleeps throughout the night. And it happens, most of the time, baby is either sleeping or breastfeeding. Or in some time, baby is engaged with other activities. So when mother is whole day, mother is outside in work, on job, and night times generally baby is asleep. So they will get very little opportunity or inadequate opportunity to stimulate for milk production. In such cases also, there will be these issues of low milk supply or low milk production. And when the baby is also fed with alternative formula feed or other feed, then also this low milk supply may be arising because baby will not baby is not completely reliant on breast milk, so baby preference also might change. So by giving alternative feed, the stimulation that comes from the breastfeeding is again reduced. So that will again will have the same impact of reduced milk supply. And sometimes supplementing is somewhat okay, but completely replacing the breast milk and supplementing at times also will reduce the amount of milk supply. And if baby has, a weak suckling reflex, baby has weak reflexes and not able to suck properly. So that will also, discourage, demotivate the baby, and endurance towards breastfeeding will also get affected. So baby might not be interested because baby is not able to suck due to poor reflex. So baby will not get adequate feed, because only when baby sucks, the milk will flow from breast through the milk ducts to the nipple and to the mouth, and then slowly passes through to the intestine. As long as the baby keeps suckling the milk. But if there are poor reflexes due to various reasons, we'll also try to cover them, the swallowing issues or suckling issues or the reflexes issues. When there is such poor reflexes or poor suckling that is happening, that will also affect the stimulation and also affect the milk production. And if any congenital anomalies by birth, if there are some issues by birth, like, tongue tie or any kind of lip related issues or anything related to mouth and all, if there is any such issues, they might not stimulate properly. So that will also reduce the stimulation and will gradually cause the affect the milk production. So these are certain issues. If you are having any of these issues, or you should contact a lactation consultant or a healthcare provider or a medical professional. They will be able to help you. Now, naturally, there are some natural remedies or natural interventions that you can do when you observe there is low milk production. Apart from medical advice, what you can do is you can breastfeed or you can express more often. So the more frequently you are expressing the milk, you are breastfeeding, the more it stimulates to generate milk. And so thus, again, this cycle continues. So when you observe that you are getting less milk, then the only thing naturally we can do is stimulate. So breastfeed, through which stimulation happens naturally, or express, pump more often and feed the breast milk to baby. And massage your breast before, during, and after feeding. That will help you to increase blood supply and also to relax. And relax during breastfeeding or pumping or expressing. No? You feel relaxed while breastfeeding. And If you have any breastfeeding pump, you can use breastfeeding or expressing your breast milk through pump, or you can hand express breast milk by pressing your breast with hands and slowly collecting the milk. That is also can be done. Otherwise, you have breast milk pumps. You can attach that pump to your breast, and those vacuum pumps will extract milk from your breast and get stored in a container fixed to that, breast milk extract, that pump, so that you can feed it to baby. And to motivate, as we were discussing earlier, also skin to skin contact is very essential. Hold the baby skin to skin as much as possible to your naked chest. That will also helps you and what else can be done? As already mentioned, improving positioning and latching, that will help you to stimulate, and that will also in turn increase the milk production capacity, milk production. And there might be some medications which are also coming in the way of milk production. So ensure that you check with your doctor before you consume any medicine. And always check for the side effects before consuming them, and whether they are safe for pregnant women or lactating women or not. Like especially certain medicines like, metoclopramide and domperidone, and certain drugs are harmful or not advisable for pregnant women or lactating women. And natural remedies are there. Like there are many natural remedies that will help you, home remedies that will help you to increase the breast milk. So that also you can follow without any side effects and whatever is available at your homes. Especially fenugreek has some research saying that it will increase milk supply. Similarly, there are a lot of within your home, within your kitchen, you have a lot of things. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. It's almost 9 o'clock. So if you still have any queries, we can take them. Otherwise, from tomorrow onwards, there will be a break for 2 to 3 days. We have some important, assignments. So due to which we'll not be having sessions for next coming 2 or 3 days. So what we will do is, we will either reduce that in the overall program, or we will extend that program for another 2 or 3 days. So we request you all to check accordingly and join. And before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. So it is also mandatory. So we thank each and everyone for patiently listening and joining us for creating awareness. So see you all on, preferably today is 5th, no? So on 9th, preferably. So tomorrow, 6th, 7th, 8th, 3 days, we might not have sessions. So you can join us on 9th and we'll continue till 11th. And if required, we will extend. Otherwise, we will have this 1-week conference. Initially, we planned for 10 days and we were anticipating these 3 days so that it will become 1-week conference. So similarly, from tomorrow onwards, you can just check in if it is possible. We'll do it. Otherwise, we'll continue resuming on 9. So the feedback form is active. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. Those who have scheduled their presentations, the next 3 days can reschedule, or you can join on 9th and you can complete your presentations. So thank you everyone once again for joining us and supporting us in this awareness. So let's be more proactive and see you all on 9th. Take care. Good night.